All right, if you're a student, you know this feeling all too well, right? You take pages and pages of notes, you're super diligent, but then it feels like none of it actually sticks. Well, today, we're going to fix that. We are going to transform your notes from just a passive record into a powerful, active tool for learning.
I mean, come on, we've all done this. You spend an entire lecture just scribbling away, you fill up a whole notebook, and then what happens? It just sits on a shelf. It collects dust. It becomes what you could call a notebook graveyard, a really detailed record of information that you never actually absorb. But what if that notebook could be something so much more powerful?
Okay, so let's get right to the heart of it. This is the forgotten notes problem. We often trick ourselves into thinking the hard work is done once the notes are on the page. But that's exactly where everything gets stuck, in limbo, right? Somewhere between the paper and your actual memory.
And this quote it hits the nail on the head. Taking notes is only the first step. If notes are not used, they do not support learning. See? Taking the note isn't the learning, it's just getting the materials ready. If your whole process ends right there, you are missing the most critical part of the entire equation.
So, this brings us to a really big idea, a huge mindset shift. I want you to stop thinking of your notebook as some dusty archive of facts. Instead, start seeing it for what it truly can be, a dynamic, active toolkit for building and reinforcing your memory.
And that brings us right here, the active tool mindset, putting your notes to work. When we really adopt this approach, the whole purpose of taking notes changes completely. It's no longer just about capturing information. It's about creating something you can actively use later on.
And you can see the difference so clearly when you put them side by side. You have these two mindsets, the passive approach, notes as records, that just creates an archive you might never visit again. But the active approach, notes as tools, that creates a toolkit. It's designed for a very specific purpose, to help you remember and actually understand the material.
And the practical benefits of this? Oh, they're huge. When your notes are designed to be tools, they become incredibly efficient. You can review things so much faster, you can test yourself super easily, you can practice recalling information on the fly, and maybe, most importantly, you can instantly see where the gaps are, what you don't know yet.
All right, so how do we actually use this toolkit, right? Well, the key is a technique called retrieval practice. This is where the magic happens. This is where we shift from just passively looking at our notes to actively engaging with them.
So what is retrieval? Think of it like a mental workout for your brain. Seriously, just reading something over and over again, that's like watching someone else lift weights at the gym. It doesn't do you much good. Retrieval is when you pick up the weight yourself. It's the act of trying to pull that information out of your memory that actually strengthens those neural pathways.
And you know what? The absolute best way to practice this kind of retrieval is to turn your notes into questions. It's a simple trick, but it's a total game changer.
Let's break down exactly how you do this. It's a really simple but incredibly powerful three-step process. Okay, step 1. Just review a section of your notes. Refresh your memory on the topic. Step 2. On a totally blank page, start writing down questions based on the key concepts you just read. And step 3, this is the magic part. Put your notes away, hide them, and try to answer your own questions purely from memory.
And doing this has this amazing 2-for-1 benefit. First, the very act of struggling, of trying to recall an answer, that's what builds stronger, more durable memories. And second, it's a perfect diagnostic tool. The questions you can't answer right away, bam, they instantly show you exactly where the gaps in your knowledge are.
Okay, so this powerful technique, retrieval practice, it's not just some random trick. It's actually the final, crucial piece of a complete 4-part system for really effective learning.
So let's zoom out and look at the whole system. It all starts with step 1. You capture effective notes in the first place. Then, step 2, you organize them, structure them so they're clear. Step 3, you match them with what you actually need to study for. And finally, the step we've been talking all about, step 4, you use them to actively practice retrieval. When all 4 of these parts are working together, wow, your learning becomes so much more efficient.
And this really is the ultimate takeaway. This isn't about working harder, it's about working smarter. A really strong note-taking system doesn't create more work for you. In fact, it does the opposite. It reduces the effort you need to put into studying because it gives you total clarity on what you know and, more importantly, what you still need to focus on.
So, I'll leave you with this one question to think about. Looking at your own process right now, what is the one change you could make that would start to transform your notes from that passive archive into a really active, useful tool? Something to think about. Thanks for tuning in.